Hey guys, today I'm going to do an Instant Pot pulled pork, and I'm using a pork shoulder picnic for this one. A lot of people use Boston butt. I do have a couple of videos doing Boston butt, which I will link to in the description. And one of them's rather long, so what I've done to keep this from going extremely long is I'm just going to use a store-bought rub on this, and I'm going to use liquid smoke. Now, a lot of people, some people don't really care for liquid smoke. Some do. I've had a lot of feedback on that, shall I say. And for this one, I'm going to cut off the skin. You don't have to. It's not absolutely required. But there are other things that I like to do with this skin, namely cracklings. I've never tried that, so I'd like to try that at some point. So anyway, skin's a little tough, so it's going to take a minute. I'll get right back to you when I'm done. Alright, so I've removed all my skin. There's quite a bit of skin there. So I've got two things that I'm going to put on this. I'm going to put some liquid smoke, and I'm going to put some rub on here. Now this is a store-bought rub. If you want a good rub recipe, like I said, my other pulled pork recipe will be down in the description. So I'm going to put this in a bowl here because I'm going to start out with the liquid smoke. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the fridge and let it sit for quite a while, probably good, I don't know, 8 to 24 hours. All depends on when I feel like getting back to it. So you smell that smoke right now. You don't really have to let it sit overnight. I mean, if you got this and you thought you were going to make it right away, go for it. You can do that. There's no problem with it. Okay, so for the rub, I'm just going to add just like a whole bunch of it, and I'm going to really pile it on because hopefully I'm not going to have to grab that rub dispenser again. And then you just massage it into the meat. I will have to grab that again, but oh well, such is life. So anyway, you just get it all rubbed in into all the nooks and crannies, and you got your liquid smoke on there. So just fill this side. That looks about right. And we're just going to coat this thing completely with rub and liquid smoke. And then, like I say, we're just going to let it sit up to 24 hours in the refrigerator. I'm going to cover this, by the way. And I really hope this fits in my 6-quart pot. It is a big chunk of meat. So, all right. So we have it completely rubbed and everything. And I may put some more liquid smoke on it. But at the moment, this is ready for the fridge. I'm just going to cover it with aluminum foil, or you can use plastic wrap or whatever. Put it in the fridge up to overnight, as long as you want, or as little as you want. You could actually just put this in the crock pot, or you could actually just put this in the Instant Pot and get started right away. Alright, it's been about 24 hours since I put my pork in the refrigerator, and it looks wonderful. So let's make some pulled pork. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little liquid to my Instant Pot. About a cup of apple juice is what I'm going with here. I'm going to go ahead and just put that in there. Yeah, cup and a half, something like that. You just want moisture so that your steam can go ahead and do its thing, per se. And this is heavy. I weighed this, and it's like 7 pounds. So anyway, I gotta clean these real quick. I weighed the skin from my pulled pork, from my pork shoulder that I cut off, and I put that in the freezer for later. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to go ahead and just apply a bunch of barbecue sauce here. So that's really all there is to it. So now I'm going to set it on my meat setting. I went ahead and preset this for 120 minutes. This is about 7 pounds right here. So I'm going to give it 120 minutes. That should be plenty. At the end of 120 minutes, I'm going to go in with a fork test it out, make sure the bones will separate and everything. After 2 hours in, my Instant Pot, has finally timed out. Word to the wise or whatever, I didn't really realize this, but when you have 120 on there, it's 1 minute or 1 hour 20 minutes, not 120 minutes. So I had to reset this and restart it and everything. But at this point, I think we're pretty close to done. Let me see what's going on, because this thing is probably going to spit a bunch of water. There we go. All right, I'm going to release this, and then I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to check for doneness. Like I said, it's got a combined almost 2 hours, maybe a little bit more. It does smell pretty good. So I'll get back as soon as this steams out. Alright, our steam is finally let off. I found the only vessel I have large enough to hold something of this size that's heat resistant, because this is going to be hella hot for a while. Alright, let me just go ahead and pull the lid. You're looking at it at the same time I am. There we go, lid is off. And yeah, it could use a little more time. Let's see what we're, I mean, it does pull apart. Texture seems about right. Yeah, it's pulling apart. I had pulled the pork out and had started pulling it apart, and I found that it was a little bit tougher than I wanted it to be. I mean, it could be pulled pork, sure, but while I didn't want it to fall apart, I also didn't want it to be untender. So I just gave it an additional 30 minutes, meaning a total of 2 hours and 30 minutes. And yes, it is now able to be easily pulled apart. So I guess the moral to that story is, if you're going to cook something this huge, might be a good idea to cut it into smaller portions prior to cooking it, or after you've given it about 2 hours, pull it out, pull the bones out and pull it apart somewhat, and then you'll have give it an extra 30 minutes, and then you'll have very tender, ready to go pulled pork, the consistency that it should be. And now it's perfect. So sorry. So give it enough time. 2.5 hours is enough time for something that size. Basically, I had some issues with my pot. First of all, I had my Alexa had this set.
What should I add?
Never mind.
Canceling.
Okay, sorry. So anyway, I was using this plug on something else, and then I plugged in this pot, and then when I had all my lights, I commanded to turn off all the lights, and this plug happened to be on that, so it turned off the pot. So I had to restart the pot, and there were some other issues. I had some, when I put the meat in, I think some of the rub got along the lid, and so it wasn't sealing correctly. Anyway, make sure that the top of your pot is very clean, and that your ring is very clean as well, so that they will make a really good seal, and then go from there. So I'm going to get this shredded up, and I'm going to go ahead and make some coleslaw and put a sandwich together and try it on a sandwich. and show you that. So I made some coleslaw, heated up some beans, put together my pulled pork sandwich right there. I like mine with a little hot sauce on it. I do need to get the thumbnail. I've already had some. It's delicious. Alright, I got my thumbnail, so here we go. Let me just bite into it. I do like hot sauce. Look at that. Sometimes I put the coleslaw right on the sandwich. Mouth-watering, delicious. Man, I hope you make this, and I hope it turns out just as well. Your Instant Pot, a pork shoulder, you can use a picnic, or you can use the Boston butt. Boston butt is easier because you don't have a lot of hassle to go through, and it cooks a little quick. But the picnic shoulder comes out just as well. Alright, thank you very much for watching. If you like what I do, subscribe. If you want to see more pulled pork videos that I've done in the past, I will link those in the description down below. And thank you very much for watching.